What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, Birdsinthetrap MMA, and I'm back with another banger today. Today, I'm going to be talking about my UFC 300 predictions, but since I'm super late, and I know, and I'll explain in a second, since I'm super late and you've probably already heard every breakdown, I'm going to be explaining what is on the line for both guys with a win or a loss as I explain my breakdown and prediction in the outcomes, okay? So, before I get into it, though, I just want to say, guys, I have not been good with the videos at all, and I know that, alright? I'm really sorry. I had some good momentum behind the channel, but, man, I have no... Sometimes, it's been a few things, alright? I'm gonna get real with y'all. Sometimes I really just have no motivation. Sometimes I really am just tired. And sometimes I really just don't have any ideas. And sometimes the UFC is not, I have no passion to talk about it. Now, don't get me wrong, I love every card and I watch every card, but to sit here and put time and energy into multiple videos about these Apex events, I'm not Lucas Tracy, I'm not MMA Guru, I don't do this for a living. If a card is shit, I'm probably not going to make a video about it unless I somehow have something interesting to discuss. However, that's not the case here. Alright, this is UFC 300. So, guys, I am going to be trying more... I am going to be locking in with YouTube again, okay? I'm going to be... I can't promise right away I'm going to be back on, like, just hauling videos out, right? Actually, I know I won't because I'm about to go on a trip. So, there might be another gap after this. No, I'm going to do a post-300 video. Yep. But, anyways, yeah, I don't know how active I'm going to be right away, but I promise to be pushing it more. And if you guys have a video idea, drop it in the comments because since I have no ideas, it's so likely that I'm going to do it. And I'll give you a shout out, okay? With that being said, guys, the last thing I want to promote on here is the Instagram for the channel, okay? I'm going to put it on the screen right now. Go follow the Instagram for the channel. I give channel updates on the story. And I post my prediction videos for cards. Well, I post my predictions for every card that I don't do a video for. And yeah, you know, I'm going to be trying to kind of grow the community and the content on there throughout the next few weeks. So keep an eye on that and let's get into the video. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate you guys. Let's get into it. First things first, guys, starting off the early prelims, as you know, Cody Garbrandt's going to lose to Deiveson Figueiredo, unfortunately. I would like Cody Garbrandt to get the win here, just because it would be really cool to see him, you know, go from champion to unranked to back to ranked and title, maybe kind of title contention, like one away. But I think that if Cody Garbrandt wins this fight, he will lose his next fight because he will be ranked too highly, and it will not be a reflection of his chin. You know what I mean? So, you know, maybe Marlon Vera, someone like that. Like, Cody Garbrandt sounds like the perfect Marlon Vera win. You know what I mean? Or like Petr Yan or something along those lines. Now, if Cody loses, he's kind of right back where he is right now before this fight with Figueiredo. He can either retire or go back to fighting guys ranked number 40 and, you know, going 50-50 with them. You know, more guys like Brian Kelleher, you know what I mean? Trevin Jones, get him in there. Whereas a win for Deiveson Figueiredo, I feel like it's a little weird because he will have a win over a contender and a former champion, but both of them are kind of weak for their caliber, right? Rob Fonten's like number 8, number 9, coming off a loss, and Garbrandt was a champ like 7 years ago. So he might still need 1 or maybe even 2 wins, which is going to be hard to do. Figgy's only getting older, you know what I mean? He's got a lot of miles on him. He's had a lot of wars. So, you know, he is in a weird spot if he wins, but I like the Yan matchup. Maybe Marlon Vera, like I said, for Cody Garbrandt. Honestly, the winner of this fight can fight the same guys. Marlon Vera, Petr Yan. Who else? Maybe Song Yadong even. Maybe. Whereas a loss here for Deiveson, if Deiveson loses, he's more cooked than Cody. more cooked than Cody because that's the fall from grace. You know what I mean? You beat Rob Font on the feet, and then you lose to Garbrandt. And if Garbrandt wins, it's likely going to be a stoppage. Not a good look. Not a good look. All right. So, that is what I think for this fight. I'm picking Davison to win there. And, ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. I've been picking Jim fucking Miller the entire time. I have not switched up one bit. Since the fight was announced, you know, I've been picking Miller, and that is with Bobby Green's last fight in mind. He's been stopped badly a few times. Bobby Green is also really active, you know. So, you know, if Bobby wins this fight, he'll still be ranked, and he'll keep having these big fights. It feels like right before he fought Jalen Turner after the Dawson fight, it felt like, okay, Bobby Green, I remember people were saying, he's like another Jorge Masvidal, you know what I mean? Like a late career resurgence, and I was thinking, shit, we might see that with Bobby Green if he beats Dan Hooker. All of a sudden, you know, it's Jalen Turner, and then Jalen Turner takes like 4 years off of his life with that horrible stoppage. So, you know, it's going to be hard for him to get the momentum back, but if he beats Jim Miller, he probably will. And if he loses, I say long layoff, okay? And then fight another Jim Miller victim, all right? Fight Gabriel Benitez, all right? Or someone that Jim Miller has beaten, all right? Jim Miller, with a win, Jim Miller is 40 and ranked, and kind of in his prime, you know what I mean? Maybe not physically, but as far as, well, kind of physically, yeah. Jim Miller would be an anomaly if he wins this fight. Probably wouldn't be any other ranked guys, but it would be really, really cool and funny. It'd be kind of funny, honestly. At the end of the day, it'd be funny. A loss here really doesn't mean anything for Jim Miller. It wouldn't drop his stock too much. It would just suck that he couldn't capitalize, because I think Jim Miller could blow up with a win here. Maybe not as like a superstar. Well, obviously not. But for the night, like, it's Jim Miller's night. This is Jim Miller's fight, baby. Jim Miller's going to win this fight by stoppage. I think Jim Miller will stop him. Let's move on. Jalen Turner, Renato Moicano. Isn't it crazy how many people have fought each other on this card, or at least, like, shared the last card? Sorry, random observation. I really want to pick Moicano to win this. I love Moicano's channel. He's really funny. All love and respect to Moicano, but I have to go with Jalen Turner here. Just because, look, I don't even have to break down these fights too much. I know you guys have heard it all at this point. If you know anything about these fights, you'll probably know why I'm going with who. If I'm picking Jalen Turner, you probably know why. If I'm picking Moicano, you probably know why. So I'm picking Jalen Turner by stoppage. But with a win, Jalen Turner will finally have some momentum again. It was kind of rough after those split decision losses, but he'll be looking for a top 7 matchup next. Who do you do him against? I don't know who you do Jalen Turner against. Maybe Fiziev when he comes back. With a win here, Turner versus Fiziev, I like that. And if Turner loses this, he's also kind of cooked, because that's 3 out of your last 4, and you lost to Moicano, who, don't get me wrong, is insanely skilled, but at least on paper, Turner should have all the advantages in this fight except for the grappling. So I would say maybe a Dober matchup. Okay, I know the Doberman is just waiting to get at Jalen Turner, so let's unleash him. And yeah, we can see who the big dog is, alright? Renato Moicano, you know, a win here, it would be very, very impressive. However, he is older, but this win would get him, I would think, a pretty generous shoot up the rankings. I would say Gamrot. Alright, do the Gamrot fight. Scamrot, throw him in there. Scamrot, you know, needs more for a title shot, so another ranked win in the meantime would look good on the resume, and obviously that'd be a great opportunity for Moicano to get the money. Alright. With the loss, Moicano's barely ranked, and he'll need to fight an unranked guy to defend that 14-15 spot. Maybe Bobby Green or Jim Miller. You know what I mean? Whoever wins that. But yeah, let's move on here, guys. Again, Jalen Turner, I think is going to win that fight. Sadiq Yusuff versus Diego Lopez. Okay. A win. Kind of in the same spot he is for Sadiq. Okay. A win for Sadiq, which is not going to happen. I'm picking Diego Lopez by stoppage. Diego Lopez is special. He's got that aura. He's got the emo cut. And Diego Lopez is special. Alright. With a win here, though, he kind of is in the same spot where he's defending his ranking. But I wouldn't really shoot him up there. I would say, like, did Sadiq and Lerone Murphy fight? I don't think so. I would do that fight, but if Sadiq Yusuff loses, it's got to be someone else unranked. I say Joe Anderson Brito. I believe Brito is fighting on 301. I'm actually not sure. If he is or isn't, Sadiq Yusuff. Alright, that's the next fight. Diego Lopez, after he wins, like I'm expecting. Fuck yeah, Diego Lopez is ranked. And I would say Dan Ige, or like the Caceres and Sean Woodson winner. And with a loss, it's all good. Just kidding. I'm not too big of a Diego Lopez fan like some of these people are. I wouldn't be too sad if he loses, but he might just kind of float around until he hits his stride again. It's not like a loss really takes him back too far, because he's not really that far to begin with. So it would be kind of easy for him to get on another streak, but you know, if he's one of the people where you're winning, and then you lose and he kind of falls apart, then he'll just kind of float around the featherweight division, and we'll see him from time to time. But I don't think that's going to be the case, because I'm picking Lopez to win this fight. Alright, let's move on. Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. Alright, Calvin Kattar with a win here. Yair Rodriguez, not even anything else to think about. This kind of sends Kattar spiraling down the rankings with a loss, okay? I would suggest a Bryce Mitchell matchup, but think, bro, if you're Kattar, you're coming off a 1.5 year injury layoff. You're fighting a former champion of the division below, so not even ranked in your division. And if you lose, 3-fight losing streak, you're cooked, you're old, it's not good, right? A lot of damage, kinda. But, yeah, it wouldn't be good. And I'm picking Aljamain Sterling to win this fight. And if Aljamain Sterling wins, Brian Ortega is the only answer, in my opinion. I think the grappling is going to be really fun between them two. And I actually think the grappling is what is going to win this fight for Aljo. And I think Aljo's going to go to a decision. Aljo is not getting no fucking $300,000 bonus. But with a loss here, he would really be in a weird spot where he'd be unranked, because I don't think they'd keep him in the bantamweight rankings. He'd be unranked, but on a 1-fight skid, right? So I would say, like, you'd have to fight someone at featherweight that's like 10 to 15. So Dan Ige, throw Dan Ige is the guy when you need that mid-level featherweight. Dan Ige, let's see what Sterling can do in there against him. But I am picking Sterling to get the win. Alright, Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic. This is a fight. Let me talk my shit, because I have to stand on business, okay? Yuri Prochazka, I've been picking Yuri to win this fight the entire time. And I wish I was making videos throughout the updates of this card so that I could prove it. I've been picking Yuri because Rakic... Again, I'm not trying to do a whole breakdown on this. You guys know what's up if you're watching this channel. Yuri's going to knock this dude out if Yuri is still physically capable of what I know him to be. If he is... If the injury completely screwed him over, then, you know, he may look like shit in this fight. But with a win here, maybe a title shot on the line for both. But it depends on the outcome of the main event and the outcome of this fight. But a loss in this fight for Yuri, unfortunately, that means that his career is a bit of a flash in the pan, right? You went 3-0 in the UFC, you got the belt, and that's it. You know what I mean? Lost after an injury. And then Yuri Prochazka, man, he'll be one of those what ifs, like, oh, What if Yuri's shoulder never got injured or something like that? I don't know what I'm doing here, man. I'm just talking with my hands. I'm so excited for this card, man. You see the merch? You see the shirt, dude? Hell yeah. Hopefully that doesn't spoil my next pick. Oh. But yeah, it'll become like one of those things where it's like, Yuri, how good could he have been? And I really don't want to live in that world, because a win, depending on if it's entertaining or not for Rakic might actually try now because of the bonuses. I would say if Rakic wins, he should fight the loser of the main event. But if Rakic loses, then, you know, you can do him in the Apex co-main event, maybe an Apex main event, let's get real, against like Johnny Walker or Volkan Ozdemir, the winner of that. But as far as the breakdown for this fight, guys, I just want to say, why would you pick Rakic? I get he has good leg kicks, and I get that he's big, but the grappling, unless he just heavy breathes on him, which he might, I don't see it being this mega issue that Yuri can't overcome. You know what I mean? Yuri is going to be solid on the ground, and unless he just gets fucking half guard camped, I think he's going to be fine. Yuri Prochazka's going to win this fight, and I've been saying it for a long time. Alright? Standing on business. That's what I think. Bo Nickel versus Cody Blumdage. Fuck this fight. Ridiculous fight. This doesn't do anything for Bo Nickel if he wins, other than, you know, it's a highlight on the reel. But it doesn't verify or, like, validify any of the hype he's been giving himself. Not even people have been giving him. He's been giving himself. This guy's talking about how he's going to beat Khamzat Chimaev and Israel Adesanya. And he's fighting Cody Brundage. You know, I hate it. So, if Bo loses, which would be so funny, and I pray to God it happens, it's over. It is completely over. And I would suggest never competing again if you lose to Cody Brundage. Okay? That is what I would suggest. Okay? Cody Brundage, win. Not even worth talking about, but it would be funny to see. Okay, with a loss, bye-bye. Or maybe the Apex prelims. Not much to talk about here. Fuck this fight on this main card. And let's get into Charles Oliveira, who is going to beat Arman Tsarukyan. Because what the fuck has Arman Tsarukyan done? Just because you get a one-shot big fucking hook win over Beneil Dariush, who just lost to Oliveira. Like, I don't look at Arman as some crazy guy, crazy stand-up, crazy power. No. He had one good fight against Beneil where he landed a good shot early, but, like, you know, this guy's having competitive fights with Scamrot. Scamrot. Are you fucking kidding me? I would, like, This fight can go 50-50. No, this is not a 50-50 fight. Look, obviously the fight can go anyway, but Charles Oliveira should win this fight. I'm picking him to win this fight. I'm going to be wearing this shirt tomorrow, okay? And if he wins, we all know he's fighting for the belt. Same for Arman, okay? But here's where things get different, all right? With a loss, hear me out. Walk with me. I know this is a little weird. Move up to welterweight. I said that going into the Dariush fight. I was picking against Oliveira, and that's low-key, like, kind of where I learned my lesson for this. But, you know, I'm like, okay, what else does he really have to prove at lightweight? He's only getting older, you know. The weight cut is only going to get harder. I think Charles would school some guys at welterweight. I think Charles would beat Colby Covington. Charles would beat Gilbert Burns. Charles would beat... Oh, I got some crazy names that I feel like I could say, but y'all wouldn't like it. But Charles would beat fucking JDM, you know what I mean? Bilal. Charles would have a really, really good chance. Maybe not beat them, but I would say maybe move up to welterweight. Try your chances. Shit, dude, I'd like his chances against Leon Edwards. Leon doesn't do well with a ton of pressure coming at you. And he definitely doesn't have the same grappling offense. So he's going to have to be defensive the whole time. Shit, bro. I'm breaking down Charles Oliveira versus Leon Edwards right now. My bad. But, you know, a loss for Arman honestly doesn't really change much. I mean, you know, he won't be a title contender, but Also, it's like he just got to the top 5. So it's like if he loses, it's like, okay, well, you know, he's just been weeded out. But, you know, I would say the Moicano and Turner winner would be a good fight for him. Or maybe Fiziev on the comeback. If, you know, this is who he draws. I actually take that back. That's a bad idea. Don't do the Fiziev fight. Fiziev needs a win over Turner and then this, okay? Now, Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. I made a video explaining how much I hated this fight when it was first announced, and I did hate it so much. But as interviews have came out and as I've seen them interact and shit like that, I'm picking Max, dude. I'm gonna pick Max. I'm sure. Like, I hate to compare my picks to someone else because I was kind of teetering, right? And then when I hear other picks, I'm like, they make a good point. They make a good point. And, you know, after hearing everything, I think I side with Max Holloway believers a little more, okay? I believe in Max Holloway to win this fight. I think him and his team, they're doing things right. I think Max is willing to get in a war, and I actually don't think he's going to get knocked out. I did say that, but now I don't think so. Gaethje obviously has power, but he doesn't have one hitter quitter in the hands, you know what I mean? So I'm picking Max to win this fight, dude. It's scary, but this is where legends are made. This is where champions are made, okay? You got to take risks like this, okay? You have to pick Max Holloway to win the BMF belt up a weight division, okay? Because that's how champions, that's how GOATs are made, and that's what I'm trying to be, okay? So I'm picking Max Holloway here. And, you know, pretty self-explanatory. With a win, Gaethje is in the same position as Oliveira. Title shot, okay? Loss, retire. Win, fuck yeah, Max. Okay, this would shake up the world. It would shake up the divisions that Max competes in. And Max would just kind of have to pick where he wants his title fight. No, probably featherweight because, you know, they'll probably do the Charles fight with Islam and then the Max fight with the winner of that. But until then, I would say Max is going to fight at featherweight. Even if he loses, featherweight title shot is next for Max Holloway. Alright, now, I can't care enough to break down this fight. I don't even have the other women's fights on here because I can't really give a breakdown. And I don't want to pick women's fights because there's such coin flips that they just kind of bring down the percentage, the pick rate. So, yeah. But Weili is one of the few that I'm very confident in to win all the time. So I'm just putting Weili on here so that my, you know, prediction rate can go up. And you know what? Maybe on my Instagram, I'll give a pick for the other two women's fights. Maybe. It's kind of risky, though. I want to sweep the card, but if I give a prediction for a women's fight I don't care about and get it wrong, I'm going to be pissed. Especially if that's the only thing I get wrong. So, I'm just putting Zhang on the parlay, alright? Now for the main event. Alright, I'm picking Alex Pereira. I've been picking Alex Pereira. I used to say leg kick TKO. And everyone used to be like, oh, Jamal Hill's a southpaw, dude. He's a southpaw. You think Alex Pereira has ever tried to kick a southpaw? Like, what's up? Dude, it's so ridiculous. You think the stance of Jamal Hill, like, obviously it makes a little bit of a difference. You think that just eliminates calf kicks as a whole? Hell no. Pereira is going to be on the calf early. He swooped Yuri and put Yuri in the air, like, within a minute of their fight. So I think the leg kicks are always going to be a problem, okay? And the technique, the power, everything. I pick Pereira. I see the route for Hill, but the layoff, the injury, it didn't really seem like he had a good weight cut, and he low-key seemed a little shook at the stare down, in my opinion. Or the stare downs haven't happened yet. The press conference. Did you guys know I actually went to the press conference? It was kind of cool. They had a big curtain, right? And then the curtain just dropped and they were all on stage. Look at this, guys. Look at this, guys. Can you see? Can you see it? Oh, shit. Fuck. Damn it. Alright, this isn't worth I went to the press conference, alright? But with the... Aw, damn it. I got a spelling error on there. With a win here, likely just 1 or 2 more big fights this year for Pereira, but it would boost his star power a little bit, but not a ton, because everyone who's watching this card already knows Alex Pereira. You know what I mean? He's the main event. This isn't really drawing many like new eyes, I feel. So it would be a big look, and it'd be, you know, it's gonna be a big moment. But as far as like growing his brand and his fan base, he might bring more people on, but he's not gonna bring a casual fan to every UFC pay-per-view. You know what I mean? As in to buy it. So with a loss here, I would kind of suggest to retire. But if not, then you got to fight someone like Walker or like Anthony Smith. You know what I mean? But I you know, Pereira's made a ton of money in his UFC fights, and he's only had 8 UFC fights. So if he can get out of there early, I don't see why not. But, you know, retirement is not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. All right. With a win for Jamal, all right, obviously he'll be champion again, and it will be a much more respectable accolade this time around. Not that it wasn't last time, but it wasn't last time. He beat a short notice guy coming off of the beatdown of his life, and he couldn't stop him. You know what I mean? Whereas now, he's fighting a guy who's younger, active, current world champion. He's actually going to be taking the belt. So it will just be looked at as much more legit and respectable, which I agree with. That's how I feel too. If Jamal Hill loses, he's going to have a post-fight salty breakdown. Just kidding. I'm joking around. With a loss here, Jamal fights Rakic, you know, probably before the end of the year. But if Jamal Hill loses, I can actually see him being pretty damn upset. I don't think he'll lose control or anything, but I think he'll be cursing and shit, you know what I mean? So yeah, alright, that's the end of the video. That's the whole card, alright? Thank you guys for sticking around. I'm sorry for being so inconsistent. I'm gonna try and be better. And I say that every time, but it is what it is. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Enjoy UFC 300. Goodbye.